One of the most confusing topics in Colorado family law is alimony rights, also known as spousal maintenance, and in particular, spousal maintenance or alimony for men. Hi, I'm Marie Drake of the Drake Law Firm, and today I'm going to talk to you about alimony rights for men. First, the good news, or maybe it's the bad news for you. The courts don't care what's in your pants, unless, of course, it's money. So spousal maintenance is gender neutral. Historically, of course, men paid women, so husbands paid wives for spousal maintenance after divorce. And that's just an old rule. Now it doesn't matter. And it's just based on a calculation that includes how long the marriage is and whether or not someone's making more money than the other person, and if that fits into the calculation. A determination of whether or not spousal maintenance or alimony is going to be awarded in Colorado depends on a number of factors. And those factors are generally the length of the marriage. So the marriage needs to be more than 3 years old, and whether there's financial disparity between the two parties, meaning is the wife making $280,000 a year and husband's making $60,000 a year, and they've been married for 10 years. That's generally going to be an alimony case where the husband's going to get some alimony. Now, the calculation also includes the ability of the spouse making more money to pay the spouse making less money. It also depends too on whether the spouse who doesn't make much money has the need for the money. So if Mr. 60,000 a year is living comfortably in a yurt and saving a ton of money, it's not going to show that there's a big financial need for it. So the calculation has a number of factors and it's all a little fluid, but we can tend to nail it down after we find out the information. In addition to the length of the marriage and the other factors that I mentioned briefly, the courts will also look at what the standard of living is during the marriage. So if there's a very high standard of living, there might be more of an argument for spousal maintenance, unless, of course, because of that big standard of living, there's huge resources for each spouse, meaning the spouse who hasn't been earning money is still going to be awarded so many assets from the divorce that he or she is not going to need maintenance on top of it. Another issue too that everybody should know about is that if one person is awarded spousal maintenance and the other person is paying the spousal maintenance, then that will affect the child support calculation, because the spouse receiving the maintenance is going to be receiving that as income that will be part of the child support calculation, and people need to know about that. Two other factors in the spousal maintenance calculation and consideration are, first, age and health of both parties, and second, contribution during the marriage of both parties. So when you're looking at the first one, age and health, remember, the court's not going to make someone who's right at retirement or going into a situation where they'll be in a fixed income suddenly have to pay maintenance for 20 years if they're 65 years old. It just doesn't happen, at least in my experience. And second, if someone has a chronic illness or perhaps cancer or something where they're not going to be working at the capacity they were, the court will take that into account as well and not necessarily order maintenance at the same level they would if the person was perfectly healthy. And last, with regard to contribution, if one spouse has been earning all of the money during the marriage, the courts will take that into account. But again, more often than not, I see where the courts will go ahead and award maintenance if all of these factors that I've talked about in this video are present. So you just have to be prepared that even if you've been the one paying for everything and earning all the money, if you've been married, that's all marital. If you have any questions at all regarding spousal maintenance, whether or not you owe it, whether or not it's owed to you, whether or not there's a chance of it, please give us a call. Here at the Drake Law Firm, we're standing by and we have a lot of experience, in fact, since 1999, in helping men regarding the spousal maintenance alimony issue.